just a little shot of the beach. Steep home, flat home, Wales, Cardiff, Western Woods, Wilbury Woods, the old pier, and the beach not too full at the moment. I don't know if it's going to be too boggy for me to walk through the reeds. It will be starting to be higher tides, especially September. I would love to find another clam. They're rare. Well, they're not. They're well hidden. I gave anyway. So basically, I collected a few over the summer. Mainly devil's claws, but the clams. I remember meeting a bloke who was dying from cancer. He had his young family with him, and I just found a really old fossil, a clam, and I gave it to him because he had his little boy with him, and they were looking for stuff, and I said, "Would you like this?" And I gave it to him. That was an old one as well. I felt so sorry for him. He looked like a really nice bloke, and he was very ill, so yeah, it's quite boggy here. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to be able to go through the reeds properly. So I'm going to be walking up. There's a trig point up there. I'm going to be walking down to the end, to the bench, right, and then I'll go over the other side where there's a little coastal path by all there, and then up round, and I'll decide what I'm going to do when I get further up. Whether I'll go back my route and hope the cows are not in the field. If it coincides with milking time again, I should be okay. Right, over and out again. A few people just coming down on the beach now. The reed bed's looking like it's been clipped. It gets much higher than that, and there will be some higher reeds further over. Right, folks, I'm not sure of the date. I really don't know what the date is, to tell the truth. I think it might be the 22nd of August 2025, or the 23rd. It's one of those dates. Over and out. Sat on a bench overlooking Sand Bay. Good view from up here. Just going to have a drink of water. I got some good photos in while it was still blue sky, so I took quite a few down on the beach, because it's look, looking a bit grey up there, but there's still some blue that way, which is the way we're going. Right over there we've got Flat Home with its Trinity Lighthouse and a little boat going out. Then you've got Steep Home, then you've got Breen down over there. You've got the Burnback Pier, and then Wilbury Woods. But up here you can get a good view of Sand Bay, the beach area, the muddy area, and then you've got this sort of green area of marshland. But the sea will actually, during the high tides, which is coming up in September, the sea will come right the way up and deposit logs and rubbish. The beach is kept very clean. There's a group of local people that clean the beach for plastic and cans and all that. You won't sit in, and they've moved the logs as well. It's not as bad cleaning as Western, which is like absolutely raking every bit of treasure up that you could think of. At least you can still find the odd fossil on this beach. Okay, but everything else is, it's cleaning up the environment. It is good, but it's so sterile, Western beach, because it has to pick up every piece of glass and you rake it up, because of holidaymakers, en masse. Lots and lots and lots of holidaymakers and school children. This is the quieter beach, but it does get known, and there will days when it can be quite busy, but most of the time it's not. It's quite a quiet beach. Right over there in the distance, you've got Rowbarrow, Camp Hillfort, right over there. Where I go, where I walk, shoot Shelf Hill aerial, I can see with the naked eye. Yeah. Steep home. Haven't been out there for quite a few years now, but if they took the big boat out there, I'd go on it, but I'm not too happy going on a rib boat. I did get hurt going on that, lasting damage. Playing up there, going to Bristol Airport probably, coming back from, well, who knows where. Over now. Right, over there, got Millennium Stadium and all that. Over at Cardiff there, further up, if you come up, you won't see that. I can't even see it with the naked eye. It's got quite grey and misty now. Little sailing boat out there. The sea looks blue. Over here you've got the mud flats of Sand Bay. And the two homes, steep home and flat home ahead of me. I'm just doing a little bit of video to show that I'm actually walking to Sand Point, which is the very end of what I call the crocodile. Like a sleeping... Brean Down always reminds me of a sleeping whale. This reminds me of a sleeping crocodile, because it thins out just like the nose of a crocodile. Sand Bay. Sand Point. This is Sand Point. There's Sand Bay over there. For people who don't know. I sometimes share these straight to Facebook, these little ones. I have videoed Sand Bay so many times over the years, you see. But things do slightly change. And I do different routes when I'm over here. It's like I'm going on a different walk, a completely different walk when I do it. I vary my routes. Did a bit of history, well, a bit of news. England Red Roses rugby team, women, beat America yesterday. Something massive, like 67-7. This is rugby score. That's the very first game of the tournament. Wales play Scotland this afternoon, 2 or 3 o'clock-ish. But I'm not really into rugby. I find it a bit interrupting and slow. But I know it's got delicate rules and they've all changed over the years. It isn't as rough as it used to be. There's lots and lots of rules because of head injuries. Head and spinal injuries. Head, neck and spinal injuries in rugby. But it's the first time I've ever watched a whole women's rugby match as well. I've never seen it. I know it's been on telly, but I've never watched it before. But I do watch the ladies. Football, I definitely watch. I really like that. I think they're very skillful and better than the men, I think, because it's quicker. And it's the same rules. I just like it. I do still watch my Chelsea men, of course. I've been supporting them for years. And Chelsea ladies now, of course. And both the men and the women of Chelsea are doing very, very well. Chelsea men won the first ever World Club Championship in America. And President Trump was there to present them with their medals and the big trophy. So that was our Chelsea club won that for the men. I don't know if they're doing the women's one yet. Women's sport is still developing all over the world. Of course, you know. It takes a while for some societies and cultures to accept it. And if you live in Afghanistan, you've got no hope. Not at the moment, anyway. They persecute their women really badly. I call it persecution. Almost genocide, really, because they don't let them do anything, go anywhere, even speak. I mean, oh, and getting covered up. Absolutely horrendous. No education. They're not even allowed out in parks or anything. And if their men try to stick up for them, they get punished. I don't know what they get, but apparently they control the blokes by sanctioning them as well if they don't do this. This has all happened since President Trump gave back Afghanistan to the Taliban. For 20 years, the women there were freer. They were having education, the children were free. But once the Taliban got in, a huge group of misogynists and women haters, I call them, they've got to be. I don't think if they believe in a religion, I don't believe their religion would persecute women like that. I really don't. Well, Gaza is one terrible, very horrendous event that's going on, and everybody knows it. And it's horrendous what's going on. It's worse than what happened in the war, I think. Hitler was a good teacher for him, though, wasn't he? If you think about what these Israelis are doing to the Gaza people, they've learnt nothing from that Holocaust, what they call a Holocaust. They've learnt nothing. They're worse than ever. It's unbelievable what's going on, to tell the truth. It's like a horror film. Shooting people when they're queuing for food, blowing up the hospitals. It's absolutely horrendous. Anyway, we're on top of a little peak at the moment on Sand Point. We'll be down, eventually, we'll be walking the lower track down there. Okay, we'll be going down there and back. I've put my warmer t-shirt back on. Because it can be blowy this end. Right, over now. Got over the rougher ground there. Sure, it used to be easier than that, but maybe I took the wrong side of the rock. But yeah, there's been a bench put out here the last couple of years. There never always used to be a bench. There is a platform that's always been out here that could have had some sort of military thing mounted on it once. It's not too bad weather. I'm glad I've changed my top, and I've put my other one in my bag, which will be like a windshield. The sun's gone in, so it's a little bit, just slightly nippier, but I've got quite a nice warm t-shirt that's not a thin one, not ultra thick, but does the job. So I've changed my top. But do you know what? I got it on back to front. In my eagerness to put it on in case anyone saw me, I put it on round the wrong way. Not to worry. I didn't even notice until then. I saw the tag sticking up. Oh, there's some people coming. I'm gonna sit there. Oh. So this was Helen Elizabeth Drury, 1977. God, she was young. She's only a year younger than my daughter Jo. She died in 1922. Yeah, it's looking a bit more worn, the bench now. Yeah. Right, so here we've got some views. Nice and calm, the sea looks nice and calm. I don't know if it's going out or coming in. Not too bad at all. I'm not going down to that bit today. I've been right, like I've said before, I've been right on the end. I've been right on the end. Sat right on that pinnacle there. There's a few gaps you've got to get across en route to that. I'm not going to do it today. Over and out. Thinking of everybody, friends, family, the world, and hoping for peace as I look out at this calm sea. And my